Welcome, welcome.
Hey, everybody.
How we doing?
Good. The sun is playing havoc with your face there.
I know. It's like I can't. I've got the blinds closed as much as I can. I think I'm gonna have to get like a
blackout curtain or something.
Yeah, curtain or
Shade.
something to put up there for during the shows. But back up just enough there. I just gotta stay in the right spot.
So, how we doing, everyone? We have Elaine. I see we have Elaine.
Yeah, Lane's out there. Yeah.
I am lucky because most of the continent got slammed with like a winter apocalypse, and we got like a tiny dusting of snow that melted the next day. So
wow,
I'm in good shape. Yeah,
I still have ice in my yard.
Do you? That's not good down there.
Yeah, and I'm in Atlanta, so or near Atlanta.
Yeah, my brother was sending us pictures from Dallas of all the ice and snow they got. But we've got the cold. It's still going to be below zero until I think Saturday. So,
wow.
Oh wow, we got down to 12. I think a couple nights ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lane,
so we are where I'm at. I forget what this random TikTok called it because TikTok is the best source of news and information. It is infallible. No bad information ever provided via TikTok ever in the history of humanity. But like apparently, I forget what they called it, but it's like man, I don't remember what it's supposed to be, like the cyclone of winter weather that's supposed to hit exactly our area this weekend. And I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not, but yeah, it had some super hyped up name like Winter Armageddon. All the ingredients are there. And never happens, but
right.
And for any of our non-American friends out there, 12, when I say 12, I mean minus 11.
Yeah.
And when John says below zero, he means minus 18.
Yeah.
So it really is.
It looks like people got some snow. Lane said he got 15 inches. If I remember right, he's in the like Cincinnati area-ish.
I used to live near there. Oh my gosh. I used to live in Dayton. So
and it looks like
that is something I totally should admit to the internet right here. Yes. You know, previous city I used to
Snowmageddon. Lane says Snowmageddon. Yeah.
I wish we'd gotten snow. We got ice. So
yeah. Oh, snow would be better than ice. I know, having lived down in Charlotte, snow is better than ice.
Yeah.
Down
let's
there.
do a brief introductions before we get lost in chatting here. So what was I trying to say here? There's a new button. There's a new button here. I'll try and use it. Anyway, so everyone, welcome to the stream. This is Humpday Q&A, and my name is Simon Lightfoot, Flutter community leader, CTO at Dev Angels London, and you can follow me on Twitter and other places at Dev Angels London. Randall can't be with us today. He's not feeling very well, as same as last week. He is getting better though. Danielle.
Hey, I'm Danielle. I lead a small team of Flutter engineers at a startup called Early, and I'm one of the organizers of the Flutteristas. And thanks for our Flutteristas like Kaylee that have been joining in when I'm not around, so that we have a presence. I really appreciate that. And that's me. And John.
Yeah, John Weezy. I run the Flutter community Medium and answer questions out in different places like Discord and others. And in my spare time, although now my spare time is more time, so in my time I do some Flutter development on a number of applications that I have out in the stores while I'm carefully picking my next path. And that brings us to Matthew.
Hey guys, my name is Matthew, aka Makerinator. I am a senior developer at a bank that I can't name, doing projects I can't talk about, and it's awesome and I love it. But my real passion actually is my YouTube channel. So if you hit YouTube after Humpday, watch all of Humpday, don't tune away from Humpday. But after Humpday, go over, look up Makerinator on YouTube. You can see all the cool videos that I put up. Currently working on a new project right now that has put me into thermal printer purgatory, and I'm not having a good time with that. So we're currently working through all of that, having some driver compatibility issues with Linux, but that's besides the point. So yeah, that's me. And I think we all collectively, based upon the initial commentary, are going to be writing a Flutter weather app called Snowmageddon. You report how bad it is in your area, and then it ranks who has it worst, and then puts it on a leaderboard.
Sure.
John, do you want to talk briefly about how people can post links?
Yeah. So if you post a link in the chat, nobody will see it except you. So don't do it. It'll look like it went through, but nobody will ever see it. So do it this way. If you want to share a link with us to code specifically, go ahead, head over to gist.new, put in a meaningful description, give it a file name that ends in .dart so we get all the lovely formatting. Paste your code into that, and then go ahead and create the gist and grab that little hash at the end of the URL in the address bar. So just a hash at the end is all we need to go and then find your gist and look at the code. If you need to post other links for some reason, you just have to figure out a way to get it so that it shows up. But links don't show up. So anything that it thinks looks like a link, it's going to take out. Questions, get your questions in as it says at the bottom there. Make sure you put a Q at the beginning so that we see all your questions and can pick those out. And don't enter them more than once. If you do that, you just kind of get pushed down to the bottom of the pile again. So it'll take us longer to get to your question.
Right. That's Randall's viewing. So he can't stick around.
Yeah.
It's getting better. It's getting better though. It's getting better. It's got his miss.
We miss you, Randall. We love you. Get better.
Yep. Get better, and then we'll see you when you're back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, what's everyone been up to?
Just stuff.
I've been fighting the battles of what AI can and can't do when it comes to development stuff with my company, and it's been interesting. Because
is that
I'm sorry?
Particular models you're looking at?
We're using Claude because we're using the Bedrock instance in Amazon, and that's the best one we can do. So it's also got a knowledge cutoff of a year ago, which for Flutter is absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
From that standpoint, and yeah, it's ranked. The CEO wants our product person to be able to just develop apps and deploy them straight to prod.
Vibe coding.
Yeah, exactly.
What possibly go wrong?
And in all fairness, she's actually doing some pretty cool stuff that's coming up pretty quick. So with only take like all of the collisions and fixes and stuff we did for her first big mega thing she did only took Rona 3 days to fix, but it would have probably taken us for them to have properly designed it, put it in Figma, and us to build it. It probably would have taken us 6 weeks.
Oh, sure.
Or more.
I don't think that's
so.
I think it's a case of one. It doesn't matter like how you get to it, but now you've got something that could be used.
Yeah.
It definitely needs to have, especially when it comes out of any AI, it definitely needs to have time fermenting just a little bit to be worked out what the potential catastrophic bugs are that are in there before you ship it into production. It's like it's like testing production is bad enough when you've written it by hand, but testing production written by AI is just insane.
Yeah, and that's actually again, where the CEO thinks that it needs to be this and anything less is a failure. And the rest of us are trying to tell him that, hey, if we're jump starting and getting stuff going faster and improving very, by a lot, how this project's getting done, that should be counted as a success. So it's been interesting. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I've got to believe he's going to consider it a win, but still, it feels like every time that we try to say, okay, but there's this little limitation that we need to deal with, and here's how we'll deal with it, we still get a lecture of saying, well, this is not what we're trying to do, kind of a thing. So, yeah.
I think that they can also be like I was talking to someone about this just yesterday. It kind of came up in the idea of like learning a programming language now or something like that. Like it's like with AI, it kind of levels that playing field a bit, like you do become a true polyglot in the sense that you can just tell it to convert this code or get, and you get 99, 8% there or whatever on most things, and it's like that's good enough, to get you. The hard bit is always the first bit there, right? That first 20%, like when you're doing something like that.
Yep.
And that does make me sort of wonder now, coming back to your point there, Danielle, like there's this level playing field where if the C-suite are seeing something out there and they're seeing something iterate really quick because they're using AI, like, we want to do this, we want to do this.
Yeah.
And it can be that kind of like they feel like they're being left behind, right?
Yeah. Well, I've been teaching a Flutter boot camp at Oklahoma at the university I went to, which has been really cool. And that's been the question that the kids always ask me is basically, is AI going to take their job, kind of a thing that they haven't even got yet. And my answer had always kind of been no, and now I'm kind of wondering, because it wouldn't surprise me if at some point it took mine. And while I think that's be short-sighted, I also think that I understand at a startup you've got to do what you got to do to keep things going.
I think there's also an aspect that with, and we talked about this the other day, where there's no junior, if the junior developers aren't being hired because you've got AI doing that role.
Yeah.
Do you have people to take it from senior developers? And there was I think we had this conversation the other day, but then what happens after that is you kind of get this, everyone becomes an architect type role.
Yeah.
So it pushes everyone up a scale, right? So that bottom scale is gone, but does this mean that, I say effectively a junior / senior developer using an AI can effectively become an architect? They're not going to get paid architect wages necessarily, right?
Yeah.
They're not,
Yeah.
Right. So then like the roles are changing now, right?
Yeah.
It's still there, but everything's getting pushed up, it feels like, right?
Well, or the number
to like look at that work and review that work and make sure it's done right. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the number of people is going down, right? So instead of having 10 juniors, you're only going to have a couple because they're going to be able to do the work that they were doing of 10 with less using AI. Yeah. And then you still, have that path. But it's just the
positive role on this is, instead of having, you could have smaller teams, but now you can do more work, right?
Yeah. So is it going to take a job? Yes. It's not going to take all the jobs.
On a different thing, or it may be that that company doesn't need you anymore, but there'll be more opportunity because there's more value being made.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Smaller teams, faster iterations. Yeah,
I agree with that, and I think that's how it'll be. But I think there's some real power in that. The example I always give people, because I've played chess my whole life, was how in the 90s a computer was never going to beat a world champion, and 10 years later a human's never going to beat a computer, the top computer again ever. And so it's going to happen. It's going to happen quick.
Well, I think already what we've seen over the last year or two has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
and it does make me wonder where we're going to be going from in a few years hence. I think that just the key here is to run with it and don't just stick your heels in the ground and say no.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because you're going to be left behind. Right. You're going to be left as that dinosaur. That it's very similar to maybe those developers that just only know COBOL. They're just doing COBOL stuff in a corner. And they can't pick up anything else. They didn't learn those concepts going forward, and therefore they're stuck where they are.
Yeah.
And right. Again, to be honest, like as you get older, it becomes harder to learn all these new things, right? So there is an aspect to that as well that goes into all of this. Right?
Matthew, you're muted. I think you were trying to talk.
Oh, do I have like background noise going? My heater's going. I don't know if you guys can hear
that.
No, I don't hear anything.
Yeah, so I've thought so much about this, guys. Like I've had the full on existential crisis. I actually was seriously depressed for a few weeks. I've talked about this with my therapist. Like I'm not even kidding, guys. And what I've come to is that in my soul, what I, Matthew, want to be doing is I love building the absolute dopest stuff that I can come up with using the top of my abilities and the top of the tools that I've got available to me. And I don't know if this will be the right call or not, but I am banking everything in my career, in my future, on continuing to be that guy. Like, if the top of what I can do now is raised because I have access to AI tools, then I'm 100% going to do that. Like whatever is like the thing that is going to be something that pushes me to like that next level. And I think that the people that are going to survive this are going to be the people that have that mentality, because whatever the next thing looks like, which honestly, I think we're all going to become middle managers of agents. Like that's what I really think is going to happen. I think we're all going to be agentic managers. Like Cursor already kind of has this. They just sent out a thing, and I've not tried it yet, where you can fire off sub agents now for specific tasks. So you've got the large agent that manages everything, and then it'll fire off sub agents to do specific tasks to keep the main context from getting polluted. And like that's a really interesting idea. Okay. But like also, you know, when you've got 20 agents that are being managed by an AI that ultimately is being managed by you, what does that development process look like? And how do you create applications that are sustainable and will continue to grow? And those are, you know, it's an incredible opportunity, but it's also an incredible challenge. And I think I have been successful by consistently trying to always do the hard thing. Like whatever the hard thing is that has value is what has been successful for me. And I guess
there's also an essence of challenging yourself in that regard, to learn more and to actually strive for to being better, right? I mean, like if you don't choose the hard thing, you're always going down like that easy route, then you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to move yourself forward.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%. So it's interesting, and that is the real, frankly, the real reason ageism is real in our field. 100%. Yeah,
it scares the bejeebies out of me because I'm at that point for sure. Yeah. And he was actually talking to me, not Flutter community, but still.
Oh, sorry.
We were talking back and forth. No, I'm just saying. I think he meant Flutterfly there, not. But anyway, gotcha. But it's pretty well, and that's actually one of the questions I've been asking people at my company, you know, that have been using Claude for a while, is what do you do when the what do you do like when Claude's thinking? And the answer I've gotten pretty much from everybody is start another instance of Claude somewhere. I'm not at that point of being able to properly, you know, because what I'm working on is a little more specific than that. So I'm not really in a place where I can say, you know, I don't have 2 tasks right now. I've got 1 task.
Yeah.
You know,
and I like to give myself thinking time.
That's what I was about to say, Simon. Yeah. When I fire off the agent to do something, part of my thoughts are, what are the next thing I'm going to do once this is complete, and what does success for this workflow look like? And exactly. You know, so that I can evaluate the code that it puts out.
Well, and watch as it's going through its thinking, right, to see if it's going off the rails. So you can stop wasting time if it's going to end up poorly.
That's okay. That's going to be my headline for next week. Agentic micromanager. That is going to be my headline. Agentic micromanager.
But I want to know how you deal with 20 different sub agents, you know, all giving you negative feedback, you know, as you tell them to like treat you poorly and harass you.
It's like moving from like 1 agent telling me you're an idiot to like 20 agents. It's a cacophony of like negative feedback at this point. Yeah. No, I've not. I'll let you know. I haven't tried it yet. That's funny. But.
And John, you really got the Pirates of Penzance reference? Wow.
Oh yeah. I got it. I had to read his post twice because I read it wrong first time. I read it from the song. And I realized, he said modern middle manager, not a modern middle general.
Okay, so fun experiment. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I had Claude tell me something that was just flat out wrong on what it was telling me. And so I just asked it back. I said, you know, from YOLO to Space Shuttle, how confident are you in this?
Oh my God, I'm stealing that. So like something I've been doing is like Randall always talks about like his favorite prompt is tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly about this code. So like I'll write it with 1 agent and then I'll feed that output into another agent and ask it to do a code review on its own code. And it's hysterical to watch it say, this is terrible. You shouldn't do this. This is like, I'm like, then why did your
Why did you
previous
tell me to do that?
instance. Yeah, write it this way. Like, what the heck? Yeah, it's fun. But
I think there's aspects as well as if you know you're playing your next steps, you know what you want to do, you can give it more precise instructions, which means it doesn't go off the rails, right?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, I was talking about something this the other day. You give an AI prompt something really vague, you're going to get a vague response. You're going to get a random vague response, effectively, right?
Yeah.
You're more precise with what your request is, the more precise your answer is going to be.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the old garbage in, garbage out. If you can give it a very precise, focused list of commands.
I mean, it's the same with the developer, right? When you give them like there's no any spec, they're going to come up with their own decisions about what they think they understand by what you've asked them to do.
Right.
Then they're going to present that. Then you're going to go back and forth, make all these changes to eventually come up with what you're looking for. Whereas if you spec'd it up front the way you expected it to be finally, then you would have got that delivered, right? So it doesn't. I don't think it hasn't changed anything, but it's an interesting way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes I'll be intentionally vague just to see what it'll do. So I fired up Claude Code one day and I gave it a vanilla straight up Flutter app and I said, please write an app that will teach me how to Dougie. And yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Teach Me How to Dougie is a song that was like huge in like the late 2000s. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. Anyway, and it's like a whole like dance and there's like a lot of improvisation and part of it is like making it your own. And so like it created like a checklist app that was like the steps to doing the Dougie and you would click through. And it was like, sometimes I do that for my own entertainment and then I wonder why I'm out of tokens at the end of the month. You know, like it can be wildly fun to do that, but.
Yeah.
We have some viewers. Just to let everyone know, we do stream to YouTube and to Twitch. So
yeah, we have some
pick the
Twitch
platform of your
users
choice. Thank you for our Twitch viewers.
That means I probably need to go find us on Twitch just so I can throw my Amazon Prime sub toward you.
We'll take that.
No, we get Amazon Prime. You know, Amazon Prime can do a sub, right?
Yeah.
So I need to go.
Oh my God, Simon, can we get the thing where like when people sub, it does like a little celebration on the screen? It's like bow, 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 and then like Dash shows up and there's like confetti and it's like we got another sub. Thanks, big Flutter programmer number 27. Yeah.
Sounds like an Innator episode
right?
On how to tie Twitch subscriptions to your YouTube feed.
Speaking of, I was going to say, speaking of such, I did finally watch the Mrs. Innator episode.
Oh, did you?
I really was hoping to see an actual present get, you know, I guess spoilers, but I was actually hoping to see an actual present get opened.
Yeah. Mrs. Innator knew what. So I guess I don't want to shadow the illusion for everyone, but Mrs. Innator was very aware of what I was working on the whole time. And like when it was finally done and I handed it to her, because she, to be clear, the reason she's not on camera, she's very self-conscious about being on camera. Like she really does not. So that's why I handled it the way that I did. But like I tried to be like, hey, love of my life, here's this thing that I made, open it. And she like, I kid you not, literally like backed away from it because she
made it.
That's when she does the open towards you.
Yeah. Well, she's like, it's like a Jack in the Box. I know what's going to happen, and I don't want it. I just don't want it. And so,
yeah, sorry for the spoilers, but you know it has been a while.
It's been over a month. If people haven't watched it by now, they're probably not watching it, so it's fine.
Well, you should actually. By the way, if anybody hasn't watched it, you should watch it. It's a very good episode.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
Not Flutter content, but you know, very good episode.
So
the app that gets the push notification at the end is Flutter. So it is loosely related to Flutter.
There's a little Flutter.
Actually,
you know,
I've got a hint for what I'm working on next on my desk. So I'll just show it. To you guys. This, I don't know if you can see it or not.
a little push
it looks like
5-cent thingy.
Yeah, it looks like a coin insert button, but like it's an actual button. So you push it and it simulates putting a coin in. AliExpress is like the best website, guys. Yeah, some magical stuff is going to happen. And combine that with your information about the e-ink display and some other stuff I've been working on, you might have a hint. And the thermal printer drama that I'm dealing with right now, you might have a hint.
You need a button, which is like push commit.
Right.
Push. Back up. Each time the AI does something, you're just like,
right. A giant big red commit button. You just slap it, you know.
Okay, let's. We've got a few questions in the queue. We'll get to some questions.
Let's go for it.
And then we'll do some live coding. I know. We'll see. We've got to carry on our Journal Club app from last week.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. Philippe is asking, have any of you worked with mic and speaker ID and have tips for real-time audio? I tried the Onyx Sherpa model, but no success. Trying to filter speakers on their pre-trained voice. So I would read that. What is trying to determine who the speaker is based on the audio using pre-trained model or a pre-trained voice model?
Yeah, because saying speaker with mic is not what you think, right?
I know, that's what I was like, yeah.
The person speaking. Yeah. I mean, so I've not, no. But I mean, the general gist of the way that these things work is very similar. You might, I mean, I don't know what, I've not even looked into this, but it's very similar to the audio identification that you get. What's the app where you can like record sound and it tells you what music is playing?
Shazam. Shazam. Yeah,
Shazam. Yeah. So there's that technology that Shazam, I guess, pioneered. Maybe I don't know if it's done by someone else, but they made it popular. That kind of notion of the way that works is very much well known and well documented online. So you could definitely go down that kind of route where you're doing FFT, fast Fourier transformation, and working out fingerprints for sections of content. And I mean, like you can do that kind of thing, and I guess ID what you're hearing based on previous recordings, which is what you're saying about pre-trained. But I don't know what the Onyx Sherpa model is, so yeah.
I will say, Philippe, if you find good solutions to this, I would be interested in you leaving in chat on a future show, like what you found.
Yeah.
And the reason is I actually have a project on my backlog that I would love to do, but I play D&D online every Thursday night, and I would like to uniquely identify who is speaking for each character and then transcribe that into text and then summarize the session via AI. And there are products that sort of do this. They're not as good as I would like. I got as far as being able to use OpenAI's Whisper model to convert the actual speech to text, but it doesn't do what you're talking about of doing identification of who's doing the speaking. And so I feel like if I could give Gemini that context of like who's saying what, it would drastically improve the output. So it's something I'm interested in. I have so much on my backlog. I haven't like dug into it, but if you find something that you have success with, please drop it in chat and let us know. I would love to look into it.
It'd be great to hear because we've seen it, right? There, products like Teams and those sorts of things will do that now with their AI. They'll give you the text to speech, so you get all the text output of the call, and it'll identify who spoke when. And it's probably doing a little more fancy, right? They're probably also looking at like mouth movement combined with who's speaking to determine who's speaking, that sort of stuff. But it'd be great if you find it to come talk about how you took the input of speech and are comparing it against models to figure out which model it matches of who's actually speaking.
Randall just had to go. See you later, Randall. Hope you
feel better, Randall.
Better, Randall.
I would just say I was just looking at the GitHub page here for the Sherpa Onyx model. Yeah, so speech to text, text to speech, speaker diarization, blah, 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 blah. What's interesting is support for embedded systems, Android, iOS, Harmony, Raspberry Pi, RISC-V, ROK, MPU, and 12 programming languages, so client-server model. So this actually does support like quite a few different options here, including WebAssembly. There is a C API, which should also mean that you could actually use FFI directly to use this options. I'm guessing these are like pre-compiled. You got your library, and these are the models that pre-compiled for each different. Yeah, so you got audio tagging versus parallel versus punctuation versus TTS. Yeah, these are different action models, and then the actual code that wraps that, and then the runtime, Onyx runtime. Yeah. So actually, you can go look at native assets, Flutter native assets, and you could probably wrap this up in a using the demo model quite easily. I mean, this basically does this. You create like a CMake file along with your input files. Essentially, the output will be what this is. Yeah, I mean, try it, see what happens, right? Obviously, the other option is depending on how they want to work this, but could be similar.
Yeah, he said that there is a pub package that uses it. He hasn't tried it with native, but he should. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, try it out of the box. I mean, like, if you're having problems, perhaps you can explain maybe what type of problem you're having with it, because it looks pretty, pretty well thought out, well documented, detailed, lots of wide support on it. So, yeah. So they got some pre-compiled binaries that you can use.
It's got what's the Flutter page show up on the left side there, right above WebSocket? It says Flutter.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I missed that.
Text
Pre-built Flutter apps,
streaming speech recognition. Yeah.
So there's source code for it, I guess.
No.
Should we look? Yep. So this is a Flutter app. Yeah, Sherpa Onyx. There's a package on pub for it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you can also use it locally as well. But yeah, Sherpa Onyx. And then they're just taking advantage of the fact that they already have a package online model. So yeah, you probably need to download the model. Or yeah, okay. Okay. Then we have streaming as one of them. Get online recognizer, get online model config. So obviously this is online models. The reason why you can't have an offline bin file for your offline model. It's an audio recorder. Update the record state. Basically, this is doing here is binding the audio recorder package to the Onyx package, right? Yeah. So do we have permission? Create the encoder. Is it supported? Create what it's looking for, that particular encoding, which is PCM16, the basic uncompressed WAV audio. The rate at 16 kilohertz, one channel mono, pretty standard. Convert bytes to floats, and then it sends the floats over to the what do you call it, Onyx. Yeah, that's the online stream. And then once it says it's ready, so it decodes. Whilst it's not ready, whilst it's ready to do some more, it decodes it, and then we get the result, and it gives us the text. I mean,
so Philippe just left a comment in chat. He says, "Yep, went through this already. It's not properly identifying the speaker. It still catches other people's voices."
Well, maybe your voices are very similar. I mean, test it out, right? Try it. But I mean, like, I have to have a look at. I mean, I don't know enough about what this is resulting with. It could also be that their wrapper is just not designed for that use case, right? In which case, do your own wrapper. Like, look at the native library. I'd probably go down the route of if they've got support, since they've got support for more desktop-driven approach, use like the Swift. If you're on a Mac, use the Swift API or something with a Mac desktop app, Flutter app, or the C API, and do something where you're just evaluating the model that you're using rather than the platform that you're using it on. You can just do these smaller values. This is a good sort of good development technique anyway, right? Sorry, you were coming up there, Daniel. But it's a good idea to simply do little test projects that are just covering some concept ideas and then throw it away. You've learned the doing of it is the learning of what you need to know, right? Like you don't have to have any specific outcome other than that you've tried to do something and it worked or it didn't work, right? Or you learn something along the way about how you do that kind of stuff, how you work with your SDK or how you do this thing. So yeah,
for sure. Isolating your variables 100%. Like, I think you're right, Simon. The first thing I would be doing based upon that is trying to just use the model and get rid of the Flutter framework just to see how the model itself behaves. And if the model itself isn't doing what you need, then there's your answer. So,
yeah.
I mean, again, it could be that the on-device model is not as powerful as the online model.
Yeah.
So again, you could try like looking up, like, is there an Olama model that you can run in your GPU and see how it picks up that versus how it picks it up on a phone? I mean, giving you ideas about how you do all this stuff, right?
I didn't even think about that, Simon, but you're right. Like the AI capabilities of phones vary wildly at this point. Yeah. Like depending on the device you have, like my Pixel 10 has like the tensor cores that are dedicated to AI, so it can run light AI models a lot better than something that's like a little bit older. So I didn't even consider the fact that the model might behave differently on device.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Simon. I'll shut up. You know what? I have been told
me out there.
I've been told by 3 different people I've dated, please keep talking. I'm trying to go to sleep. And now I see I'm putting Simon to sleep.
Ouch. No, it's just been a long one.
All right. Next one.
Yeah. Hugging Face is a good online test.
Hugging Face, yeah. Yep.
All right, let's move on. What's next?
What's next? Seriously wants to know, currently using Drift for SQL in Flutter Dart. Is it good to use isolates with Drift and setting that up with Drift isolates?
That's a good question. Do you know what? I haven't used Drift for I don't know how long.
It's on my list of things to look at again.
Yeah.
Drift is a reactive persistence library of Flutter and Dart built on top of SQLite. Okay, and he's using SQLite 3 package directly. Yeah. Right. I mean, I don't know have you actually looked at how it's working under the hood? I mean, at the end of the day, is it already using, isolates? And if it is, then you don't need to. And if it's not, then sure, use isolates.
Yeah. I mean, some of it's the use case too, right? Like, is there a reason you need to put something on a different thread?
Yeah.
Or not?
I mean,
have you profiled the app to see how it behaves both ways?
Right.
Because if you profiled it and your performance is fine, don't add unnecessary complication. That's
always
true.
Yeah.
So Freeze out there. Freeze says it's built to support it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
with a little customization. Yeah.
Got it.
See, Free actually seems like an expert. So
Free's going to come on the show and answer your question next time.
Yeah, he should be here. Yeah.
You had him on in Berlin, right? Was it Berlin? No.
He's been on a few times since then.
Yeah. Well, since then. Yeah.
The Berlin live stream he was there. Free's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah, absolutely. I
mean, hold on. That wasn't funny. Free's an absolute jerk. I hope I never see that jerk face again. He is a blight upon the Flutter community.
I was just thinking, everyone always says that kind of stuff, and you're like, we're not going to say someone
right?
Right. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next.
All right. So just again, what is really the difference between Claude and ChatGPT for Flutter coding? Never used Claude. I think that came up because Danielle was talking earlier about Claude.
I've not used ChatGPT for Flutter coding. I've used Gemini to help with Flutter coding, but I haven't used ChatGPT. I think that, I mean, these guys are. It's always, the best is kind of always whoever the last one that made it to the table is. They're all improving as they go along. In general, I would say so.
But I tell you what, I kind of find ChatGPT is a website, right? And there's no like IDE integration, so therefore, what its use case for doing code is quite limited to examples, and therefore, it doesn't have access to your project or files and stuff unless you give it the information. So
it depends on where you're using it, right? Like if you're in VS Code and you set the model to be ChatGPT.
Oh, you can do that, can
one of their models.
Yeah, but is that GPT model? Is that ChatGPT's web service?
So it's not ChatGPT's web service, but in
GPT-4, GPT-5 model and so on, right?
Yeah, the web service is using the GPT-5 model behind the scenes. So
yeah, I mean it's a bit more complicated than that, right?
Yeah, it is. If we're just talking about models, my experience is the Anthropic models are generally giving me better results for code. Google's models generally give me better results for creative work. So when I'm brainstorming a project or I'm trying to come up with ideas, I will frequently bounce them off Gemini. But when it comes time to write the actual code, I go over to Anthropic models. And I actually asked both Gemini and Anthropic's models why that is. Like, why is Anthropic's models better at code? And they gave me the same answer, which is, and I'm going to butcher it, so I'm going to try to stop at the edge of my understanding here, but they train the models differently, right? It has to do with the process that they do for training models and the reward system. And so because of that, Claude's models tend to be less creative, but they're very good for logical tasks. And there's overlap. Obviously, both can do both to a certain extent, but I feel, in my experience, I found that Anthropic's models, regardless of what language I'm trying to code in, are just 10 to 15% better than the competition.
Yeah, I found the similar thing. I might use ChatGPT for fact finding and things like that. Gemini for creative work, also fact finding, but then Anthropic and Claude and all of the models there for coding.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, my day job, I have to use Claude, so it's Claude or nothing basically, and I've been told to use Claude.
The latest model is what, Opus 4.5, is it, or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Claude Opus 4.5 is there's obviously different models for different reasons, right? But I found when I'm doing complex coding stuff, that's definitely the one that wins.
Yeah.
So I also think, and I'm not sure where that question was coming from, because I feel like there could be some confusion on the tools itself. So I feel like it might be worth bringing that up. Claude Code is a CLI interface that you can install, that you can then go into a directory and say, give a prompt, and then it'll code directly on your computer. Whereas ChatGPT, as Simon put out, is just a website, right? You're asking questions, it's giving out code snippets. It's not going to be able to develop your project for you. And then you've got a third kind of in between, where certain IDEs like JetBrains has Junie, I believe, that you can use various models in. My Poison is Cursor, where you can use various models, things like that. So there's different levels of using AI to code, and just be aware that there's different tools that implement in different ways. So when Simon was saying, well, it's ChatGPT's a website and it's a little bit more complex than the model in the background. Yeah, there's context. ChatGPT keeps information about you, for example, and will keep relevance and add that in. And there's a bunch of stuff that they're building on top of that model. So it's a much more complex conversation than I think. Yeah, sorry. I feel like I derailed us there. Back to you, Simon.
No, I think it's good because it does come down to, the question really is probably more about models, right? Which model is going to give you the better Flutter responses for your questions?
No, but that's true. But I do think that it matters of how easy do you get its answer into your code.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, when you have any one of the ones that toolings that integrate with your IDE, obviously that makes it a lot easier. So cursor, augment code, whatever, like it's going to be able to like see the context of the code, see the context of the project, understand things a bit better, and work with what you're doing better than guessing, basically, right?
Yeah.
You can also use obviously GPT models in cursor or wherever else.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's get to the next question.
Sorcerer. What confidence level do you have?
From YOLO to space shuttle.
From YOLO to space shuttle. Space
1
shuttle.
billion%. There you go.
Yeah.
Flutter
we get
is
this question all
extremely Flutter is extremely valuable in the era of AI, just because you have the AI writing one code base, you know that it works. Like I would say that Flutter is even more relevant with all the AI stuff we've been talking about. We get this question a lot.
Forget about AI. It's just not going to go anywhere. Even without AI, it's like
we didn't do our obligatory. None of us work for Google, so before we get too far down the rabbit hole, none of us work for Google.
But Google could kill Flutter if they wanted to.
We've had this question since day one, and it comes up all the time. And it's not going anywhere. And even if it was Google wanting to not continue with it, other companies and places would pick it up, right? The fact of the matter is, like, was it Baidu is using it in their app, and they've got 4 billion users or something stupid like that? Like, this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, and from the Google standpoint, they built enough stuff on it internally and externally available that it would take a lot for them to decide.
What's the percentage of new apps? Is it like 70% or 80% of new apps now in stores are now Flutter or something stupid like that?
Yeah,
it's like a huge percentage. I don't quote me on whatever, but it's on the.
I just want to say
Medium articles, right?
In the year of our Lord 2026, Java is still installed on how many billion devices? If Java is still alive, Flutter is freaking immortal.
I will say Java is not part of the Android operating system, although he mentions the JVM. So just caveat that.
Sorcerer did make a joke at 34 past that I think is probably pretty cute.
At 34 past.
Go dig it out now.
The Android plushie is like, I'm totally fine. The Gopher has a look like surely Google will kill Dart before me, right?
Anyway, that's
Go isn't going anywhere either, guys.
No.
There's no way. COBOL is still alive. Yes, Michael.
Yes, it is.
COBOL is still alive.
COBOL. I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I'm seeing more job postings for COBOL developers because they're so hard to find.
my first, like, not in college. I was still in college, but I mean not like on campus paying job was in COBOL way back in the day. And when I met Groovin Chip, Ruben was working on COBOL then.
I've got a great idea, guys. I've got a great idea. Okay. We all know Flutter's dead. Flutter's dead. Flutter's gone. Flutter's over with.
Someone send that into me.
Context, right? So let's just turn this into COBOL Humpday Q&A. And we're going to become a COBOL show. And every week we're just going to write new applications in COBOL.
And we can do like a monthly. We can do COBOL for a month, then we could do like Fortran, then we could do Pascal.
Yeah.
I'll find like an AS400 emulator somewhere. Yeah. Simon.
Oh, goodness me.
No.
That's it. Rewrite all the air traffic control in Flutter.
The thing is, I wouldn't want. I think I was talking to someone about this other day. The reason why they stick around for so long is that they're like finite machines, right? In the sense that you know what inputs are going to output and it's small, simple, and effective, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you start layering on lots and lots of levels on top of this, right? When you have something as it's the same thing as what happened when all these systems went from being DOS text-based, like they're just the only thing running on that machine, to being Windows app. Those are massive problems,
right? Because
suddenly now you've got all this other stuff that's running and other complexities, and like you've just increased the problem space, not decreased it.
Well, not only that, but it's the question that people always ask, right? Like, well, if Flutter's the next thing, right? Well, how come Google hasn't rewritten all their apps in it? Well, because you have an app written in COBOL that was written 20 years ago and nobody touches because it works. So why would you risk rewriting
spend more money or risk things? Yeah.
Yeah, and potentially have hundreds of issues that you have to deal with now, and upset customers and everything that go with that. So that's why those things stick around, because nobody wants to be the one that replaces it and has to deal with making sure that the new thing works as good, if not better, than the old thing, which is going to take years of testing before they're going to be comfortable saying, yeah, let's replace it.
I've got a second great idea, guys. This one's even better than the last one.
Okay. Go on.
So here's what we do. We add a new segment to the show called Will It COBOL, okay? And we take a open source Flutter app and we point Cloud Code at it and say, please convert this into a COBOL application and just see what it tries to do.
That is a better idea.
Actually, I have something for you. So something that happened something that came up the other day.
I haven't gotten you to kick me off the screen yet. I'm trying.
I'm curious about. I haven't tried to put the AI on it yet, but this is what I was going to do. So there's for those that don't know, there's a great YouTube, great GitHub organization called Historical Source. This contains the source code of like everything that they can make that's ever come before, basically. So there's 329 repositories, and you're going to find like a lot of these are like games, like Descent 3, Area 51, whatever it was, Coin Up Assembler. If it's some historical code, you'll find it here on this thing, right? Well, one of the interesting ones was
time in Descent 3.
Sorry.
I just put so much time into Descent 3. I had a moment, but go on.
But interesting enough, so Infocom was a text-based adventure game thing, right? And it was an engine. Mm-hmm. And this is the source code that was captured off a floppy. I think it was it says down here like how it was handled. But basically, the actual where was it? I think it's in here. Basically, the compiler is lost, right? Yeah, there currently is no known way to compile the source code of this repository into its final Z machine interpreted program. There's zip files that are of the Infocom source code repositories, but they were the final spin down of Infocom drive, which means to create them is the way you create them is currently lost. So literally, there's no known compiler for the source code that's in here. So we have the source code.
They used a mainframe to compile this.
Yeah. So, but this is the source code. Look, it's like this. So this is the language, right? Like it's it's its own thing, right? And it made me think, I wonder if we could like chuck AI at this and make me a compiler. Here's the output, here's the input.
Yeah. If it could decipher it and turn out some sort of a compiler.
There are rules and instructions and knowledge about it, but no one's got the compiler anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I watch movies. I mean, I've seen things take, like a handful of scratches on a wall and translate it to whatever the lost language was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe after enhancing the grainy picture,
What's really scary is we would joke about the enhanced thing when we were like watching that not too long ago.
And now it's real.
Now you go, actually, that could.
Yeah, it'll never happen. It'll take years and years and years. We'll never see it. Oh, well, it's happening.
Yeah, that's like I said, my chess example.
Yeah.
All right, I've got to drop, people. Thank you all.
Oh man.
See you next week.
See you next week, Danielle.
So
that brings me to my third great idea. Here we go. I call it vibe coding poker. All right. So the way this works is like.
Oh, what happened to Matthew?
You take like a task, right? I knew it was coming. You take like a task, right? And you're like, I can do that in 10,000 tokens. I can do that in 1 million tokens. And like whoever bids the lowest on the token count wins.
To try and do it.
Oh,
yeah.
That sounds good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. What was it? I saw a YouTube video a while back, and it was like vibe coder versus iOS professional iOS developer or something, and it was like, but the limitation was the iOS developer had to use the AI to build the code as well, and it was like he couldn't like fix bugs by hand or anything. Like he had to use the AI to do everything. I was like, kind of defeats the purpose of that kind of comparison, right? Like,
Yeah.
like he's got skills, let him do it, and then you know he's gonna like trounce the other guy because not only can he just do the prompting, he also knows how to prompt exactly what is needed, right?
Yeah.
But I can't remember what I come out with now. Oh yeah, that was it. They would try. They had to like do. It was like 6 prompts each. And that was it to build this high, like entirely complicated app with like voice notes and AI summarization and whatever else it was. I was like thinking to myself, they ended up basically crafting. So obviously 1 token, right, or whatever it is. But like, I don't know how much the cost was. I don't know how they're working out if it's API calls at the time. But it's like it was crafted as like this whole like couple of paragraph prompt to get multiple things out of the AI in one go. It's risky. It's definitely risky.
Yeah.
The more that, you know, just to be clear, you know, the more precise and to the point you are, the better your response is going to be, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, right.
Cool. I think we got 2 more.
We have a few more questions, and we'll do some live coding
for the last couple here. So, Master Tech Series is asking, I have an app that uses speech to text library. It's worked great, but now that I've moved it to a package and created a new app, Android fails with a cannot find CLang error.
So you're trying. So the speech to text library itself probably needs to be imported directly into the app because the way it integrates with the app itself, probably the native libraries, which is what the Clang error is about. What you can do though to solve that, if you essentially move just a separate package, you can export an interface from your app that can be consumed by your other package, so that you can basically forward on the calls to the speech to text library. So
it uses NDK
library as a dependency, direct dependency of your app, but then still have all of your code that uses it in a separate package.
He followed up saying that it uses NDK.
Yeah, I mean, so does Flutter. So
yeah.
And NDK just means it uses native code, right?
Yep.
Like code from another language than Kotlin or JVM based. So, So yeah, do you follow what I'm saying? I think that I can't. I mean, do you guys follow what I'm saying? So you can
like a missing
data code to an interface, right? And then that interface is implemented by the app to go out to the speech to text library, right? So the speech to text library dependency is directly within your app or the apps that implement your package, right? That's the way that you can kind of get around that problem that you're seeing, probably. I would also just recommend doing Flutter clean, delete the build directory, delete all your temporary files, and try and build fresh to make sure it's not like some weird build issue.
Yeah.
But I suspect it's the direct dependency issue.
He says it works on an older project that uses the package, but is a problem on newer versions of Flutter or newer projects.
Has the package been updated?
I mean,
yeah.
Let's have a quick look at speech. I mean, this situation, what I would be doing, Master Tech Series, is that you want to probably fork the speech to text library. I'm assuming that's the one you're saying that's not working here in this case. And then, okay, so speech to text was updated 5 months ago. It currently supports Android, iOS, Mac, Web, and Windows. Yeah. Brilliant.
Well, and I think Free's going down the right path too, asking, like older project maybe has an older version of Java as well. Newer project is using a newer version potentially.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting into an interesting world.
A lot of things that could be causing it.
There is a pre-release version 7.40 of speech to text, which you might want to check out. Minimum Dart version 3.3, so it does have an old base to fall back on. Doesn't mean anything bad though. The Android implementation. It's where? Let me have a look. I can share my screen. I can share that actually. Yeah. Show you what I'm looking at. Tab. Sure. going to hide that. Yeah, no. So I just went into the hub and followed it through into the GitHub and followed it through into the Android implementation. Then in here you can obviously see what it's doing, what it's requiring. That looks good. I mean, it all looks fine. Nothing crazy there. That should have been published to to GitHub, right? No, that makes that much difference. I mean, I'm not seeing anything jumping at me here as. So this is just a wrapper around something else. Let's have a look. So this is just a plugin, right? So this is a platform channel. All this native code does is basically implementing a platform channel. Here we go.
We also just left a comment. A full cached clean can sometimes help as well if it's still using a cached intermediate that was built before. Yes, I have found the same thing. So that might be a simple thing you could try.
Yep, for sure.
Sure. Start listening. Stop listening, cancel listening locales. Has permission, initialize.
I need to step away for 2 minutes. I'll be right back, guys.
Sure. I think this is just using the native speech to text of Android, right?
That's what it looks like. I didn't see anything there. It's pulling anything else in.
That's good. I mean, I think that's correct. But then NDK side of things isn't needed for this. So what platform are you trying to run this on? iOS, Mac, Windows? My brain just went straight for Android.
I'm guessing Android because he says he was specifically talking about having the same Android file, Android Gradle files. So
it's maybe possibly that you haven't got update. Go into your SDK, Android SDK manager, and make sure you got the most recent versions of all your dependencies in there and your NDK, and maybe just update your version that you're compiling against. So this is going to try and compile against the Android version that comes with Flutter, but that Flutter works towards by default. But you can choose whatever version you want.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the full SDK versions, right? So the actual it means that you're compiling against like whatever the latest letter is, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what that.
I mean, honestly, there's nothing in here that uses Clang. So the fact you're getting Clang errors probably is unrelated to the speech to text library, and so maybe related to a different library altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing in here is using C code.
Nope.
Not one iota of everything. This is standard practice to put this in here. So don't even think that that's anything to do with it, right? So
I mean, you're just getting that from Flutter Create.
Yeah. So the Android implementation here, nothing special, as it were. I don't think you're going to be seeing much different from the iOS version.
No.
Speech, which is standard operating system one, they brought in this exception library, sure, but then this is just going to be a wrapper around the speech APIs.
Yep.
Again, no native code being used.
Right.
This is beginning to feel like a situation where I feel like without seeing the stack trace, it's harder to pin down.
I think like you might be looking down the wrong,
right. It may be pointing at the wrong thing. Yeah.
See if hopefully that helps point you in the right direction somewhat. I don't think there's much more else we can do there. All right, next.
All right, last one I think that we got. Any other way to use end then .env without exposing your env in assets section. It shows on the network tab when loaded.
Yes. Dart define. You can use a Dart define JSON file.
Yeah.
Or Dart define file.
Yeah. I think it's documented in the docs to do that, right? I think if I remember right. You talk about it? Well, he's looking that up. For all of our friends out there that are interested in signals, if you haven't seen it, there is a very good observable Flutter this past week with Rhodey and Craig.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to calm your OCD down that they are flipped in the video. So their shirts say Flutter in reverse and the Flutter logo is backwards, because that drove me nuts. The entire hour and a half that I was watching, I was like going crazy why aren't they flipped? But the video they did was really good. If you're interested in signals, I thought it was really good for people to get an idea of what it is and how it works and learn some about it. So thought I'd bring that up.
I mean, I feel like there is some documentation on this. I just can't.
I know I've seen it, but maybe not in the official docs. Maybe it was somebody had some.
Wait.
Some Medium articles or something.
Yeah, find it.
But I know somewhere it talks about how do you bury them in a file and then use command line.
Well, all right, I'm going to share this, and then we can go from here. So there is official. There's official. Why is it not loading? Right, there we go. So there's official documentation on the Dart website about configuring your compilation environment, which goes through what Dart defines are and how you declare them and how you access them and use them. This is effectively your guide and how you can use the IDEs to inject them, right? So this is like the big one. But one of the things they're not telling you in this guide, which is a shame. Let me pop this in the chat so you've got the link. Is essentially this flag. So you do Dart define from file, and just like this. So instead of having Dart define like this, you have Dart define from file, and then inside your file you can have all your environment variables, right? Yeah. So you can have your pipeline or CI generate these, and then include them into your app, and then these actually get included into the binary themselves, and not without being assets, which is what you're looking for. So I'll pop this example in the chat as well. Hopefully, get you in the right direction. I feel like there must be. I mean, this is where that should be documented.
I thought it's out there somewhere, but maybe it's just not in the obvious spot, because I know I've seen it.
Yeah, I know, right? I can see that Code Magic have done an article on this. Dart define from file. You could use YAML, right? I think as well. Instead of your JSON.
I need to parse both, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it also originally worked on. It looks at the extension. I think you work on environment files as well, .env files. But don't quote me on that one. Try it out and see. Yep. Oh, literally just see. Did you know Dart from files supports env and JSON files? Here's how to use. Andre Benzotto did a post on LinkedIn about it.
Oh,
there you go. I'll pop it in the chat. Yeah, there you go. Let me pop this in the chat, and then I'll bring it up on screen as well. There you go. So just like you have a .env file, and then you specify the .env file.
Huh.
And then JSON file, and it also, I believe I remember right, it works in YAML as well. So, and then inside to be clear to everyone, just so you understand Dart defines a little bit more if you haven't been using them. So you read the keys like this. You might have seen the from environment being used in string and integer and boolean and all these others. The way you notice they're all const. This is very important that you mark this as const. If you don't mark this as const, it doesn't work, right? The reason for them being const is that they're done at compile time, right? So this variable is always going to have the value of this Dart define for the entire build process and life cycle of your app. They're fixed, right? So that's how the idea is that you can inject whatever variables you want into your.
But you can't change them mid-app.
Yeah. Now what you can do is use them as initialization vectors for like a config object, and then have inside the app. You can then configure and change it, but you know, they're const.
I totally just had a the more you know moment. Did not realize that. That could have simplified my
It's
config at
build
work.
time free. It's build time. It literally is replaced at build time. There's no runtime lookup whatsoever.
No, yeah, build time. Yeah.
I was talking to, who was I talking to? Someone on the, some people, developers on the Dart team, and about like this notion of improving Dart's constability, should we say, if that's a word? The idea being that, because at the moment, when you define something as const, you can't do like, you can't do any sort of binary, any logic, right?
Right.
So it's one of those things where other languages let you do this. So if the expression can be evaluated as a constant, it will still let it. You can't do that in. So you can still have like an if, let's say a tertiary if statement, right, with a constant
As long as they're
value.
all constants,
And that would work in most languages because it evaluates that as const. Therefore, it can only be true. Therefore, that value is now used, and it'll keep evaluating that expression until it gets a result, and that's what it puts in the app at build time.
Yeah.
Dart doesn't quite work that way. Also, what code can you run? Do you normally want to run maybe a good example of maybe these environment variables? You pull something in, you want to see what the value is to decide what the result of your const should be, right? And that you can't do that logic at const time. So it has to be done. That logic has to be done at runtime. So the initial source values are const, but your any logic off the back of those is done at runtime. Do I want to talk about? We should probably talk about that. Hopefully that answers your question at least. Hopefully, and let's just talk about API keys for a second. Okay, so first of all, how secure should your API key be? This is a question to you guys on the call here. How secure do you believe an API key should be?
It depends on the API.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, at the end of the day is your API is so. At some point, you need to access. There's a catch-22 here, right? So at some point, you need to access a service so that you can get maybe future API keys or updates or config or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to always ship a key within your app, right? That's it. It's going to be in there, right?
Yeah.
That it's client visible, and it's the same way as you know the APIs expect someone, you know, like someone to call like create user. Like, you know, they don't have an account already, therefore it's always open in that respect. And it's that kind of mentality of, yes, an API key should be kept as private as possible. The reason why you don't put it, the whole security around API key not going to your repository, is because it's in the source code now. It's some clones your repo. Now they're using your API key.
And all the AIs are searching that if it's a public repo. Yeah. So now it's
but they can be misused. Don't get me wrong. Like someone can like use it for nefarious. Let's say you don't put. You should ideally not be putting API keys for third parties that should not be accessed directly from a client side in your app. Full stop. Anyway, right? You don't call server side APIs from your app, right? Anyway, back to the point here is that so a proxy doesn't solve this problem. So maybe Philip, you can explain maybe what you're talking about a proxy, but I would suggest that that again, it's that one of these things where you ship it inside your app using Dart define. It's a perfectly reasonable place to put it. You can obfuscate. You can have your API key shipped in as encrypted and having decryption happening at runtime, right? So it's not visible. There's other things you can do to protect that if you want to, but there's always going to be one shipped. And then you also just need to have a method in your app where you can override it at any point and rotate the key without having to redeploy the app. Even though when you redeploy, you should deploy a new API key.
My dad worked not in cybersecurity, but in like physical security all his life. And he had a philosophy that has kind of stuck with me when it comes to stuff like this. And that was, you're not trying to make the most secure house in the world. You're trying to make a house that is more secure than your neighbors. And so if you've got a deadbolt on your house and your neighbor has a pinky please don't rob me sign on their door, one of you is more likely to get robbed than the other. Likewise, like there's escalation, and it's like you're just trying to make it enough of a pain in the neck that the reward on the other side of the door is not worth the trouble or the risk of doing it, right? So maybe you've got a security camera, your neighbor doesn't. Well, one of you is now a more attractive target than the other. And I feel like that comes over into what we do. That analogy works really, really well. Because, and that's why I said it depends on the API. And you're right, Simon. Like if it's a server-side API, you should not have it in your app in the first place. But beyond that, like I think that you have to think about what is the person getting if they decompile the app and are able to extract an API key, and what is the potential risk if they get that, right? And then make your evaluation based upon that. And for 9.5 times out of 10, as Simon just said, I think you're, as Simon says, I'm sure he's never heard that joke before. I feel like you're probably fine with like an environment variable. You know, like my analytics package, okay, you can report fake telemetry if you get it. I feel comfortable putting that as an NVAR in my app. But, you know.
Yeah, you're getting an API key to some service that anybody can go and get for free. And it's just a way for them to like, know that it's coming from someone who signed up. Who cares? Now, if it's a key to, your database and it's wide open for people to put stuff in and you don't have any other protections, you might want to be a little bit more careful with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that way anyway.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I think there's an aspect in here which is also I mean, you need to be, most people just don't have a policy about rotating their API keys.
Yeah, that's what Philippe just put a comment in there about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's really what the big problem is, right? That you need to have a way of remotely updating your configs of your apps. Every app should have remote config of some sort or another. Even if it just, when it starts up, it goes to an API and says, give me my config, and it just dumps out. It could be a JSON file in a bucket, right? So that, if your service is down, you can put in there down for maintenance, and it doesn't go any further until that config is fetched and it's updated or whatever.
Yep.
Like there's so many reasons to be able to remotely control your application without having to deploy another build. So don't lose that.
That's why companies like Shorebird exist.
Yeah. Although there's potentially still a delay in that side of things, right?
Yeah.
Like I was saying something like, you kind of, there's the whole app startup thing is a big topic, right? Like there's an order in which you need to do things, right? To be sure. And that kind of notion of remote config, having like kill switches or at least a way to turn off your applications, you need to do that before you go ahead and do any other service, in case that's the problem, right? You're trying to stop it from doing, right? I don't think unless you've been in a situation of there used to be a term called /dotted, which was when you get published on a tech news website, your website was go down because it got DDoSed essentially by all of the people that then start viewing it. It's that same thing of, until your app suddenly becomes popular for some reason, you don't know what's going to happen, and you need to be able to control that scenario. And again, you don't want, as Philip was saying, $100K bill on your cloud services. Obviously, you set budgets, you set constraints, and all the rest of it. You don't do infinite scaling. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you mention the whole getting /dotted thing. I don't know if you had this in the UK. In the States, we had a channel called Tech TV, and there was a show called The Screensavers that had this revolutionary idea that the host would get on the show and then people would submit questions and then the host would answer them. It's like this brilliant idea. I can't believe no one's ever done it since.
Yeah.
But it was like the same thing. Like there were so many of us watching that show that if the host mentioned a website, within 30 seconds, that website was down because everyone would immediately go to that website. And back then there wasn't like the option for like scaling up or providing or throwing resources at the problem. It was just like, down. Yeah. I'll never forget, like, one guy like wrote in to complain, you mentioned my website. My website is running on my PC sitting under my desk. I would like to use my PC again. Please stop showing up.
Right. Okay. Let's. I think we'll crack on with some live coding now. We can answer questions about live coding as we go.
And I'm unfortunately gonna have to jump. I've got to go prepare for a discussion.
We've only got
with somebody.
half an hour of the show left anyway, so let's see what we can get going.
See you guys.
Thank you very much. See you later, John.
Yeah, awesome. Let me see if I can get this up. Bear with. Back to where we were from before. How is everyone doing? Right. Let's see.
So we hopping back into LiveJournal?
Yeah, I mean, like, unless anyone's got any questions, I mean, sure, people can ask questions as we go about whatever code they want. Not a big problem.
Well, I guess it's not called LiveJournal. LiveJournal was something else back in the day.
Journal Club, but yeah, same
Journal Club.
So
yeah.
I used Stitch to give us some concepts on UI. And it came up with a few. So
I think last week we were working on the player, right? The audio player.
Yeah, the episode detail screen. Yep. And I couldn't help myself. I continued a little bit more. So I'll walk through what that is now, how it works. And then, so let's hit, whilst we're waiting for it to run, let's do Pixel 5. See if it runs on the Android device whilst we're talking about it. Right. So, does that change?
I actually have a question for you, Simon, because you mentioned that you were doing this with like a live device.
It wasn't me. I don't know. Go on.
Okay. It wasn't you. I think you had mentioned that you were like doing your coding on like a live device, and
that's
that
what this is
this
here.
window, and that this window was just like a remote viewing of that device. How did you set that up? Like, how did you?
Sorry, it's a standard bit of software called Screen Copy. Yeah. It was invented by Jenny Mobile, who do the virtual machine. It's basically the front end of their virtual machine so they would have the back end obviously be ADB. So this is Screen Copy is there. I'll put a link in the chat. So if you're running an Android device, it goes over any TCP IP or USB connection. And it doesn't just do this, you're controlling it, right? So it's not just a visual screen like you might get from a player, right? It's actually, and you can take videos and screenshots and whatever else you need to do. Audio fold. Oh, it does audio folding as well, which you'll hear in a minute if I hit play on something. One moment, so
bookmark that. No, that is cool. I have never. So, like, obviously, yes, Flutter runs on actual devices, but I hate like having to look at my phone if I'm trying to test something on a live device and be like, okay, what is this working? So, being able to see that on the computer screen, that's cool. All right, thank you, sir.
So, okay, so back to where we were. So we were looking at video player before. So we have our episode screen here. I can't always remember where we exactly got to before. I set up the audio player in a stack, and then we have our custom view. Author's name, and then our content loads up. And this, if we have a video URL, then we add a sliver episode video player in. The video player was the bit I think when we left it before. So I just quickly fixed this up. So we pass in the URL here. This is a bit you didn't get to see last time. Pass in the URL, and we alter that URL to build the MPEG dash URL that the site uses, so which is this basically. It just appends this to the URL basically, and we get the posted URL parameter for the thumbnail, and start up a video controller. And then when we're listening to the video player itself, we create a black box with padding with the video player itself. And then if we're initialized, then we display the aspect ratio of a video player in there. And if it's not initialized, we just display the poster. And then we have a play pause button on top. And if it's playing, then I made it so it becomes pinned. Otherwise, it doesn't get pinned. which is kind of a nice effect. I like this. It was really nice and simple. That's it. You just do that, right? And then the play pause button is a wrapper around an animation controller and effectively linking up the animation controller to the video controller, the video player controller. I should call this video controller just to be clear. So basically this links the two things up, right? And then down here, the animation controller changes the play icon. So that's like the whole player at the moment. If I let me restart. And
so if I understand correctly, you're sharing the video playback controller between both the actual video player that's on the screen and the thing at the bottom that controls.
No. That's the audio player. Sorry.
That's the audio player. Okay.
The audio player has nothing attached to it right now. I'll show you that. I finished the UI for that off. I don't remember if I put that on screen or not, but here it is. Here. There you go.
Oh, very cool.
So
and you've even got the thumbnail and everything in there. You didn't have that when I left last week.
Let me bring this up. So we've also got this video, the same sort of layout and style of player for the audio player if we wanted to do that. And yeah, so if I hit play,
nice.
It doesn't
adaptive personalization of e-commerce.
Pause it, and then that's the animated icon.
Based on
sick.
I haven't got it auto hiding, right? But that's it. And then what's really nice though is if you hit play,
user behavior data. Welcome to Journal Club. I'm Malcolm Davis.
It sticks at the top so you can read the article while it's playing in the background there. So
I found myself reading it whilst he was like him play. It kind of annoyed me that it went off the screen. So I thought, I'll just pin it.
No, that's clever. And that's not, is that like a caption of what he's saying, or is it just like an overview of what the video is about while he's talking?
Sorry. What exactly? Sorry.
So is it like a transcript of what he's saying? Is that text? I can't quite make out the text.
Oh,
is it a transcript of what he's saying?
The text in the article, you mean?
Got it. Yeah.
It's normally, it is very one-to-one ish. But I think that the point here is you can have visualizations and other things on the video that might help you understand the content. I was actually, one of the things I wanted to do was with both forms was to actually have it so that maybe this kind of goes into that speech to text thing, but actually having it, I was going to look and see if there's a captions track, and maybe if I could match it up so that I could highlight the bit that's been spoken about.
Oh, that would be sick.
As it plays.
Yeah,
I thought that might be an interesting experience, because I found myself as I was listening to it, scrolling down the article, and reading as I go. It was quite an interesting experience. But yeah, it was. So I think that's kind of that screen turned out really nice.
And then the plan for the audio player at the bottom, is that like just the audio track of the video that's being played, or is there like a separate?
My thought was when it's playing, it plays in the system audio player, right? So therefore you can like have your Bluetooth on, your headphones away, and you can still listen to it, right? But again, like this is obviously just
it's taking the audio from the video. There's not like a separate audio file that you're grabbing.
No, there is a separate audio track. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
So yeah, but the thought here is like, obviously there's a state about how that gets worked. I think this is good for now for this. I don't want to like spend too much time in one area and bore people to death, but we can certainly start. I mean, again, like this is it. We start expanding upon this, right? Like adding the share plugin, share plus for this, and have our own like set of bookmarks that can be persisted to disk, and then when you come into the main screen, you can see them. All that kind of stuff, right? So when it comes to the UI now, I think that's kind of it from a UI perspective for the article, right? Like we've done all the main bits here. I think now it kind of maybe comes back to the home screen. We could do the tabs along the bottom and then have the articles laid out in this form. And if you hit search, then we get a search overlay. We can see how much we can get done in 25 minutes.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it, team. Go team. So home screen. This is just like throw it together, disaster. Just like make it happen. So let's see what we want to do. So one of the things is we actually have in the designs home, categories, library, and profile as screens you can go to, as tabs you can go to. And then you've got your browse for your categories. There's a way of browsing those. And then when you're in a category, you see the category heading and you can just browse the articles and the episodes in the category. And then we've got library. So this will be all your bookmarked ones. And then finally, the profile is down over here somewhere. And that's just like whatever your settings are that in the app, you get notifications, whatever else, right?
Is the bookmark saving it back to an API, or is it just saving it in local storage on the app?
This is just local storage because they don't have an API for that, right? But you never know.
Okay.
So
cool.
So I think it wouldn't take much to get this to where it needs to be, and then I think it'd be a really nice sort of product, right? All right. So try and see if I can get these and us on the screen and everything. I don't know. Let's see. So I think, yeah, that works, right? Yeah. So we want a title along the top. App bar can go away. I've got the log out just at the top there just for debugging, but that can go away. So we kind of want like a tabbed UI. I feel like there's actually room here for having a main screen which hosts the other four. So at the moment we call it home, but the home screen route is called main, right? So let's make our lives easier and rename this. We can call it home still, but it's like home screen, home tab. I like that term main. Let's use main. And we're going to rename this to main screen.
Lane says, nice journal club, my favorite Humpday session.
Right. So I'll call it main and main screen, and then I'm going to create a new feature, call it home. So, and that's going to have a home screen in it, or we'll call it home tab. I think that's home tab. Right. Home tab. And then we'll get our list of articles and that we're presenting at the moment for the tab themselves, which is presented as part of this in here, so our watch builder and everything else. I'm going to take that out of here and drop it into our home tab. Let's see what else we got. All right. So that's just putting it over. We'll come back to that list in a minute and improve on that.
Free has a question. He's like, how's the navigation here? Are you using named routes?
Yeah, I'm just using. Well, I'm not. Am I? I don't know. Just using GoRouter. I remember actually now you say that. Let's have a look. Router. So we have paths, right? I mean, you can push. You can push route differently, I guess. Yes, is the answer. How's that?
Cool.
I don't know what I like. Let's have a look. Log in. Yeah, it must be right because afterwards I don't remember. I honestly don't remember how I did half this stuff.
That's the experience of being a developer. Who wrote this code?
Who wrote this crappy code? Oh, me.
When I wrote this code, only God and I knew how it worked, and now only God knows.
Yeah. So, I mean, just using GoRouter name routes. Yeah.
Got it.
Does the job. I mean, it's a simple app, right? There's nothing really. There's no complex navigation going on in here at the moment. Okay. Let's restart. And now we should have a blank screen, hopefully. Yay. Cool. All right. So as we said, the app has this navigation at the bottom. So how can I? So I'm trying to work out a way that I can get this on the screen. That's better. So we want to design this navigation in the app. So, I mean, the scaffold idea is great as a top level. So I think we'll leave that in here. We do have this notion of a bottom navigation bar. What's nice about that is it'll account for that in terms of snack bars and other things, right? But what we'll do is we'll do a custom one. So we'll start off with just throwing some widgets in there, and then we can lift it out into its own custom widget. So start with something basic. Look at that. So that's a good point. That's a good point. So what I actually want to do, I think I've actually done a tab navigation with Go Router. So you can do a shell route. I'm not sure. So if you can do like a router inside a router.
This is why I ended up and auto route has been the bane of my existence. So Lane says shell routes are good, removes that extra main screen.
Oh wait, hey a minute. Yeah, well, all right, let's have a look at it, right? I mean, like, I know I've done it before. I've done that before actually, shell routes, but so I don't think it's going to be. Does that have a builder in it? If I remember right. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So child parameter managing this navigation. Oh, perfect. All right. So we could actually undo what we just did. Kind of, I guess. Well, not really. Okay, so we're going to change our main screen. Our main screen can still be here, but it's a wrapper widget, right? So it's not going to have a route on it. We'll have a child of, yeah, what? I don't remember how you do it now, but we'll figure it out. Let's figure it out. That's what we're doing. So let's say this is. You don't have these. Right. Routes. So we're going to have our home tab. Right. And we'll give it a route name. And then we're saying that we can have, we could do, let's maybe nest. What was the second one? Categories. I like that. Wonder what? Just yeah, this is still status widget. This is where it gets complicated because we've got an individual category screen and categories. Naming is important. Right.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Now we can have, I think the key here is to have a page builder, right? What is the format of our page builder? That's not what I was expecting it to be. I don't want that. Ah, it's just a shell route builder. Is that right? It's a normal builder. Ah, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So my thought here is here, builder. So then we can say return main screen with the child. You could pass in the go route state as well, actually. Nav state. Cool. And then the idea being that body is child then. Okay. Yeah, we'll see where we go from here. And then when it comes to navigation, home tab route, I don't know, go. We're just going to give it a go, right? That's the way to do it.
Oh, you went there, Simon.
What?
You went there.
I'll
Give it a go. Go router. Yeah.
Didn't do that on purpose, by the way. So,
oh, yeah. Unintentional pun. Unintentional pun.
So we're just going to like pick out whatever graphics we want at the moment. We'll pull in the right graphics later. All right, so we've got two tabs, 50-50. We want this row to be in an intrinsic height. Icon buttons are going to have their own sort of default thing. So how are we at here? So this is going to have some content on it, and then our category screen needs something. Do a center with categories. Do right. Restart. Window break. I broke it. My bad.
Number not found. Route name.
That's fine. And that one as well. So it is just home tab dot route then, right? Because then that's going to load up the parent. Let's find out. Oh, hey. Not bad for a first attempt.
No.
Oh, and Steph it does animate.
Steph says Simon is human. He broke it.
It actually does an animation as well. Cool.
I think that's by default of Go router, isn't it? Like there's like a default animation it applies.
I'm just saying, like I didn't expect it to do that. It's done it. I think the shell route must be doing that somewhere in it, right? I don't know. Maybe that's just is that just the material route being applied? Material anime. I don't know. I guess that's the default page builder doing that. And you can override it. That makes sense. Haven't done any navigation key. We need a restoration scope to come back on the same tab properly. But yeah, no, that's not a bad start, right? Let's go to our main screen here, and we're gonna a widget for let's carry on here. So we want let's put out our I know there's an extract widget. I just never really use it. Copy and paste does me. And refactor extract Flutter widget into bottom nav bar. There you go. All right, so bottom nav bar. Yeah, it's obviously too small at the moment. So let's see what we can do to improve that. So first of all, icon theme. Override our icon theme. Thanks, AI.
Just as a heads up, I've got about 5 minutes. I have a 2 p.m. meeting that I have to jump to, and so I want to leave the studio, which is my garage, and get up there for it.
Well, I think, Steph, do you want to join us on stream? You can if you like. Otherwise, we'll wrap up. So here I'm just doing. We want to continue consider the bottom media query padding, right? That's better. And what was our original? We have like for each icon, we have a bottom nav like button, right? So the bottom nav button. Each one of those buttons is going to have a route name that you're going to.
Steph can join, so
Instead of the that comes through the right place, Steph. My Slack has decided to crash, so don't send me anything.
Are you trying to send Steph the link?
Yeah.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah. Right. So we've got route name. I guess icon as well. Icon. Normal. Icon selected. Sounds good. Yeah, let's do that. And then the current route information could be self-determined. I don't know. Let's find out. All right. So we want a column. And then say column. We want an icon and a label. We need a label. Sure.
Okay, sorry, I was dealing with Slack. So we are adding labels to the icons now?
Yep.
Cool.
So we also want a way of making these tappable as well. I want the splash. I'll use an inkwell. All right, so let's see. Now we've got a button. Let's stick them in here. So we're going to have a label of home, route name. Sure. And we've got library and profile. Let's go add some tabs for those as well.
All right, I'm going to hop off for my next meeting. Steph should be on shortly. So
Cool.
thanks for having me on, Simon, and I will see you around, sir.
Thanks for coming.
All right, have a good one.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
How's everyone doing? I can still see messages left in chat if any people want to communicate, ask questions, anything like that. Okay, so we have some placeholder library and profile tabs. Yep, routes would be helpful, and we need to add them to Go Router as well. No worries. A state management workshop. Maybe be more precise. Which one? It's been a few of these things. This is a bookmark. Empty. Do we have an empty bookmark? Bookmark border outline. Okay. So the design doesn't show them getting filled, but I feel like I like that idea. That they're hollow and then filled. All right. So that's fine. How does that look? Oh yeah, need to add the routes, don't I? Okay, so we're getting there. We're switching tabs. We need to show the one that's currently highlighted. So I had this notion of like bringing in the nav state, and that way it rebuilds the screen. But I'm actually thinking to myself, well, actually, I mean, there's a few ways of doing this, right? There's actually you can get the current state of thinking about like, I wonder if we can do like, is there like a, yeah, we can make that, add that. Go router, I remember what it is now, go router state or context. That's about right. It depends on it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So there we go. The icon's now changing magically. Done. Okay. Let's get rid of that parameter. We don't need that parameter anymore. back to our buttons. We have our primary selected color. So we can override the icon thing, just apply everything to all of them. But obviously we don't override it particularly when it's selected, so it kind of defeats the purpose a bit. I think we'll just apply these on each one. And then we can choose to do this. So there's also an aspect of this, which is, let's have a look. There we go. We have a selected home. Spacing text-wise, need to sort that out. So this is, I don't have any, just have the look and feel of it on here. All right. Probably 14 is more like it. Yeah, 14. And we've still we've got 14, and then maybe smaller, you know. Maybe smaller. Yeah. And then now spacing. Okay, get in there. Let's have the text change its color. So we'll pull that out and just say, close this. Yeah, okay. What else do I want? There's a line going across the top. So we can do that with a, so these should, yeah, they fill up the space nicely. Decorate a box decoration on there. We'll just do a border on the top. We'll probably have a fiddle around with that at some point, but slight separation. Right. What's next? Oh, you're talking about the dev camp videos, Lane. All of those are recorded. Those presentation sessions, I think, are all recorded, and they're all on a bucket. If you speak to Sumit or Renuka, they can get you links to those. Right, what am I doing? Yeah, so I think, I mean, it's nice to show them just immediately changing, but it'd be nice if they animate the color. So we've got two options. Like we could fade the state of the entire widget from one state to another. Certainly not ideal. There is a tween builder we can use. That might be the better option. It's been a while since I've used it, so let's see what we can do. Tween duration curve builder, and yeah, this might be the ideal scenario, I think. So if we do a color tween, and what are we missing here? Oh, because nullable, isn't it? There we go. Cool. And then question is, how do we control the implicit animation? Because it doesn't tell me here. Oh wait, it's just the current to the old, right? Yeah. Hang on. Let me just check this. Yeah, so builds an animated property widget to a target value whenever the target value changes. Try and remember how you do this now. Yeah, because these are optional, so we just do end. So effectively, we just do this in the end slot, if I remember rightly. It's been a while. And that's it. That should magically do it for us. What can possibly go wrong? Okay, let's make that. Let's just increase that so you can see it over 2 seconds. There you go. Let me make it bigger. So it slowly, the old one fades out as no one fades in, right? So they're switching places. The icon flips immediately though, so I feel like there should be, if we're going to do it that way, it feels like there should be a fade of the icon as well. But that works surprisingly well. So that was a nice cheap fix for that. 300. Nice. Hey, Steph.
Hi. Sorry, it took me a bit. I couldn't
That's
get
fine.
logged in.
Yeah, just doing a bit more of the whatchamacallit app, Journal Club app. Doing the bottom navigation. I think I've done quite well there.
Yes.
I think actually just looking at that, it's white, isn't it? I feel like the text should be white. We've got like a secondary color. Let's choose secondary color. We've got a secondary text color and a primary text color. That doesn't too dark.
It makes it a little hard to read, but no, granted.
Yeah. No, I like that. Slightly brighter. It's fine. So yeah, I was just thinking to myself, previously we weren't the icon. Let's just change this to icon normal. So I can see how this looks. So now the color just changes, right? They don't fill in, right? So that might be harder.
Undo that again.
I have the icons changing to a selected and non-selected state, so they fill in, right? So the home screen is filled in home. So all the shapes are filled in, right?
Yeah.
But when you switch, the icon immediately flips. Actually, I don't think it's that bad saying that now. Because of the ink splash, it kind of hides it. When the duration was longer, it didn't look good. But actually, I think that's okay. Okay. Bottom nav done. Check. That was a good start. It's a home tab. Oh, you want to know how could you even animate between them? Okay. There you go. There's my where are they? Down here. So we do a cross fade, animate crossfade. That's on. So we'd put the duration the same as this. You can always put in a variable, right? And then the selection dictates which step of the crossfade we're in. So if we show first or show second. And then effectively we're just doing icon. Oh.
What happened to your screen share?
Whoops.
Oops.
My bad. Try that again. Sorry, wrong button.
So I have a question because I will admit that I've missed several hump days. So the bottom nav.
You broke my heart. No. Go on.
Well, okay. So have you missed a few FCAIC?
Loads. Have I broken your heart?
Okay, hold on. I have to do a plug. If you follow the Flutter Community AI Circle, we were on Mondays. We're switching to Tuesdays. We will send social announcements on our next live stream. Okay, back to this. So do you have it set up? So right now I see 4 things in your bottom nav. Do you have it set up that if you were to add something else, it slides? Or did you set it so it's only 4? You know where I'm coming from.
No, I don't know. Sorry. Hang on, let me do this. Let me concentrate on one and then ask me a question.
Okay.
What was the lane? Here you go. So now that's it's very. Let's just do 2 seconds so you can see it working, right? Now make it bigger.
The slow fill.
Yeah.
But it goes faster when you had it. Yeah.
Well, I'll put it to 2 seconds just to demonstrate.
Yeah.
That. But yeah, it's 300. It's probably imperceptible, but it can stay in there. Doesn't make any big difference. Kind of like
sorry, Luna was sitting on my keyboard.
okay. Bottom nav done. Yes, I think we're happy with bottom nav.
Okay, back to my question.
Go on. Sorry.
So right now I see 4 choices on your bottom nav.
Yeah.
Is it set up so that if someone decides to have more than 4, that it slides?
Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry, slides. You mean scrolls?
Scrolls. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, now it makes sense. Okay. No, there you go.
Well, I think
Do you want
should
it to
have
be?
that. Yes,
I mean,
do.
the thing is, it's not really. Yeah. I'll show you how it is.
Yeah, I know. But remember, I have an app that I needed it to be that way,
Okay,
which
sure.
I don't want to talk about right now. But somebody out
So-
there might need it.
So let's do 5th tab here, other. Let's use. I don't even know. Out on flag. Yeah, let's do a flag. There you go. Okay, so at the moment it does that, right? In fact, there is a slight bug there which we're going to fix. So why not? Don't like it. Well, so what was I saying? Crap. Yeah. So obviously 5 is scooched on there, but I want the max to be 4. So at the moment we just do a row and it's expanded, right? Now if we do a single child scroll view and we set it to horizontal scroll direction, you think that magically makes it work, but now it breaks, right? And it breaks because now we have a constraint problem. We have a constraint problem because we're trying to expand to fill content, but the scroll view doesn't have any width to it, right? So A doesn't work, right? So the way you solve this is you wrap this in a layout builder. And then the constraints that are coming in tell you the constraints coming down to you how big your constraints are going to be, right? Like what they are and so on and so forth. So now we know the width of our maximum that we've been given. So one item width will be, in this case, is divided by 4, right? So now we know the width. And rather than doing expanded, we can say size box width. Width, right? So we can do that all the way down. And you probably realize there's a repeated pattern here at the moment. We'll sort that in a second. But I just want to show this. So now we've got. Go on. Do as you're told. All right. Now we have some debugging to do because it. Oh crap! What is that for? Interesting. It's. Let's just check something here. Yeah. Okay. I'll come back and show you how to sort that one out in a second, but let's just do this. Right. So there's 4 now, and now it scrolls when there's more. Right. Ideally, you want to do something like 3 point. Depending on you can do your calculation how many items you've got. Then when you do something like this, where half your things are off the screen, so that people can see that there's something.
Can tell that it's to scroll. Right.
Otherwise, what happens is you do this 4 thing, and people go, "Oh, there's only 4 tabs," right? They don't realize that there's more. So you normally do like a little. There's 4.5.
I think the 4.5 because it's not as spread out as much, but that's just me.
Yeah. So that's the way you kind of deal with that.
Somebody put a comment: text scaling accessibility will break your layout that way.
Yep. I've literally not fixed it. It's just temporary. But yeah, he's talking about like this fixing the sizes, right?
Yeah.
So the widths are correct, right? Like at the moment I do 1 line, but obviously the height is a problem now, right? So this is what I was going to get back to. I forced the height in there rather than intrinsic, which is what you want to be because we've got the scroll. The way you can fix that, but you're putting your intrinsic height around this in here. And then this doesn't need the intrinsic height anymore. There you go. So we're intrinsically height based on the content, and then anything wraps around it as big as it needs to be. So, for example, if we take off our limitation on one line here, and then we put our label of categories to be categories ABC, then it'll get bigger, right? Or if we change that font size, it'll get bigger. The bar along the bottom would get taller. But taller to one line only in our case, right? So
right.
There's obviously a limit, like this necessarily that this, you can also do things like when you get a certain scale, only show 2 icons, so they get wider screen or 2.5. So you could also change based on the text scale, change your number of icons visible, right? So that there's more space for the text if you want to do that. Again, this is about just testing your app in different styles and layouts. But if you notice, we've got this repeating pattern here, which is not great. So what we're going to do is have in here do something like that. Something static const nav buttons or something. And what I want to do I'm just seeing where it just magically came up with that. I was like, okay. Label. So what we're missing here is route. Thanks, AI. This is why I like augment code. Like it just knows what you did before, knows what you're going to do after. It just saves typing. Right. Kind of want this as an array actually. I don't need keys either. All right. So in theory, you can do that. Label route name icon. Yep. Spiffing. Delete all that. That just makes it a bit more legible than having this repeated pattern, and then also we get to manipulate this in terms of possibly have icons coming in from elsewhere. So let's pull these up to the top here. Make this private as well. Again, so we don't actually want the top app bar. I'm going to move this out into our profile screen.
And there was a comment about the recommendations on how many items in the bottom nav. Yes, that is true. The recommendation is 4. There are some times that you'll need some kind of navigation that needs to be more.
Actually, I think the guide actually says you can have it scroll, right? Like it's not.
Yeah.
Okay. Still get log out. Cool. Let's go back to. Let's get rid of that. Cool. That's enough for now. Right. Go for a little bit more. Let's see now. Could do do a bit more here. And what time is it? No. So I think I just want to carry it. It's terrible. I think we'll park it here. I think as tempting as it is to do more, I think we'll get back to this another time. So I think the next
Make a
step,
note and come back to it next week.
yeah, I think the next thing is like, and that's actually I think that's a really good step to now we've got this navigation working. Like doing the rest of the screens is kind of makes it simple, right? Okay, all right. Well, sorry for thanks for coming last minute, Steph, and
No
so on and so
problem.
forth. But,
I slept in late and I was inhaling my breakfast, or I would have joined earlier.
It's all right. Anytime. You're welcome anytime. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll be around same place, same time next week. All right then. Bye everyone. Bye.
Bye.